Drake,
Yes, yes, Darlington.
part three, boy, part
Back
three, part three.
again.
Hey,
Back
listen, part
again.
one and two has been quite serious. So, man, I'm looking forward to part three again, you know. So, we're just gonna kick off, right? Because we left it off where you obviously were, you know, your dad had passed, and you know, was you trying to sort of like figure out yourself as a young man, really, isn't it? And
Mm,
I remember you
yeah.
talking about like as in being in the dance club and you were doing all these things. And after that, I know that obviously you said you then met your wife now, Kim. You know, you know that obviously you're an established man now, you know, and you got
Yeah, yeah.
your babies and stuff. And but there's so much more that went on before you met Kim, and just your journey. You know, your journey with obviously acquiring your stay in this country and stuff. Would you like to share
Yeah.
a little bit more about how you sort of like managed all that, Dre?
Yeah, it was for me very difficult. Um, but on the inside it was difficult, but at the same time I had like a resolve, like, Lord, you're like in control. So whatever happens, like I had the mindset like if I get deported back to Jamaica, it is what it is.
Mm,
Like as scary as that sounds, you're going back to yes, I got family back there, but
mm.
like job prospects, having you have to now rely on them, and to look after you, take care of you and all that stuff.
Ah,
Speed wise and all that stuff. So and I've not been to Jamaica since what 9 years old. So like all these things just rushing through your head, like, what would life be like going back and not knowing the place? And yeah, there's family there, but so yeah,
so
it was.
so
So
Dre, can
what?
I ask you, like, as in what? Obviously, because you're talking about like as in your immigration status, how did you end up being in a place where you didn't have your papers?
Okay, yeah. So basically, when we came, we were supposed to. When we came to the UK, we were supposed to apply um for, well, I didn't know. My mom was trying to sort all that out. So apply for our leave to remain, but she didn't understand how the system worked
Hmm.
and what to do.
Hmm.
And I'm just gonna say a few bits, but basically, when my mom went to apply,
Hmm.
she applied and then someone told her to withdraw, and she shouldn't have. She should, and that kind of messed everything up. So
Mm.
she withdrew her application
Hmm.
and um decided was given advice to go through somebody else. And that's basically when everything just went downhill. The person who first told her apply through this way, if we had done that, and years later, one of my good friends, you'll be interviewing him soon, but one of my good friends, his mom was like, if I had known you guys, obviously we didn't cross paths or anything,
Mm.
we could have, he could have helped us to sort that out and get everyone done just by seeking asylum or another way.
Mm.
So we could have had our stay from day one, but someone said to my mum, go, don't listen to nobody. You don't know what these people are about, blah, blah, blah. So she withdrew her application, went through someone else, which happened to be a whole bogus person, basically.
Wow.
So this guy basically took our money, the solicitor took the money, and we lost like our some documents and stuff like that. And I can't remember, I might be wrong, but I think I remember mom saying that his office just upped and disappeared.
Wow.
So yeah. So I could be wrong, but I'm sure I remember my mom saying, yeah, the guy, he just disappeared. So
Oh.
then that basically messed up everything. And how it would work is if you let your children apply first
Mm.
in the days, this was one avenue basically. If you
Yeah.
let your children apply first, and then once your children get their stay, and then the adult would then apply with the backing story of the children here, then it makes it easier. So that was one way, but the better way, which we found out, was to actually under seeking asylum because of the circumstances.
Uh-huh.
And we would have all got our papers done and sorted. So basically, because of that one decision,
Mm.
for years we didn't get a stay basically.
Wow.
So all that time we were like worried and stuff like that because you hear about immigration coming
Absolutely.
to take you away, but we obviously my mom was trying to do things the right way. So because we didn't want to end up overstaying our stay
Mm.
because I think it was a 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 months or something like that. And yeah, so because of the situation back home, it just like completely and what the advice from the person, which there's nothing you can do now, like you can think back, oh, I wish this was done, or wish someone said something.
Yeah.
But when you don't know what to do, and there's that one person who seems to have your back, gives you different information. Um, yeah, yeah, you know what I mean. So basically, yeah, so that's what happened. So for years we were trying to, from what I remember, my mom was trying to apply, and I think it got rejected, like maybe a couple of times. And
Mm.
then but before we got to me getting my stay, it was literally, I remember this was one of the crazy things, which is why I remember always saying to my mom, I always said to her, something will happen. Don't worry, something will happen. And
Mm.
in a sense, I was basically saying God will provide without actually saying God will provide.
Yeah.
And there was loads of times where people in my mom's workplace um, were getting deported left, right, and center. Home office would come in, and for some reason, every single time it came to my mom, it would be delayed or cancelled. And there's no
Wow.
need for them to cancel it. And
So who would cancel it? The immigration officers.
yeah, the immigration officers, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They would cancel the
So
appointment.
yeah, cancel the appointment or we can't make it, don't worry about it, whatever.
Wow.
Because there was a time where because what a lot of like people who didn't have their status would go to care homes
Yeah.
and like proper official care homes. And care homes were actually because obviously you had the people who were living in the UK, not
Mm.
a lot of them wanted the care home jobs.
Mm.
So a
Mm.
lot of the immigrants took the care home jobs, looking after the elderly and all that stuff. Um, yeah, and so I remember, yeah, one of the times, um, my mom, what's it? My mom said, I've got an appointment with them. I can't escape this one.
Mm.
She said, Andre, you may not see me after. And I was like, my heart was beating. I was like, I
I was
want
going
to
to
see my
say,
mom
like, how are you feeling?
go back
Goodness me.
home. Yeah. I literally inside, I was like proper just shaken up because I'm like, I can't have my mom go back home. I
Mm.
can't have her go back home. Yes, we don't know if everything's blown over like that. Yes, my dad, I think, I can't remember if my dad was alive at the time then, I'm not sure. I can't remember the timeline, but either way, I've got my brother, one of my brother, and cousins, uncles, and everyone down there, and family from my dad's side as well. So I remember she was like, okay, she has to go to the meeting and there's nothing she can do to escape it.
Mm.
And believe it or not, they were like, we don't need to search you. You don't,
Serious.
yeah. The
Wow.
last time they said we don't need to, they actually said to my mom, we don't need to have this meeting cancelled. Even though we didn't have I was staying all that stuff. So
What?
I was praying, I was praying. I was like, Lord, like, it's a kind of a weird one because obviously you want to do things right. You don't want to do things wrong, and especially before God and stuff like that. If you get the drift, like you're here because you don't have a choice, but you can't sit down at home and do nothing.
Mm.
So what do you do? you
Mm.
know, and the whole legal system, if you understand what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. So, and my mom was like, no, she has to work, to put food on the table for her kids and all that stuff, because no one is coming to give us money. So it was a very sketchy situation. And yeah, so they completely cancelled it. And for my mom, that was like amazing because she was like, wow, like God actually came through because they were like, no, we need to have this meeting. We've not had one with you. And then last minute, I'm talking last minute on the actual, we're on the day that she's supposed to have the meeting of immigration where they go to have all her or to have the meeting to look at the papers and everything, they cancelled it.
What?
I was just like, wow, wow. There was a point as well where I had to live with my cousins for I think it was like 6 months
Mm.
as well, just in case immigration came to the flat we were living in. She was like, I don't want you guys to get brought in, stay there. So I had to live with my cousins for 6 months, not knowing or like scared every day that immigration is just gonna pull up and just take my mom and
So
I'm not even gonna do it.
how are you feeling at that point then? Because that must have been like, how are you feeling and just knowing that anytime your mom could just be picked up and gone?
I was anxious. Like I was anxious, but at the same time, because I had given my life to Jesus, at the same time
Mm.
I had a sense of peace in the sense of like, and it's not like a nonchalant I don't care kind of thing. Like I kept on encouraging myself like if my mom goes, God will protect her.
Mm.
He's in control because we have put our hands in I mean we have put our life in his hands.
Mm.
So that's what was this is along my faith journey. Like, it's scary. You do get anxious, but know that God will come through. Whatever
Mm.
the repercussion is, even if it's something that we messed up on, as long as we go back to God and be like, Lord, we give the situation into you, turn the situation around, I know He would do it because I've seen God do crazy stuff. Like I remember there was a time where what's it? My mom was she didn't have work for quite a while and all the bills was like going out, taking money left, right, and center. And she was like, boy, she was like, I don't even know what we're gonna do to feed the kids this week. She was outside of a betting shop. There was a £50 note on the floor outside.
Mm.
And in good faith, she took the £50, went into the betting shop, was like, I saw this outside. I'm sure someone probably dropped it. And the guy at the till, he could have easily been like, oh yeah, I'll take that and find out. He was like, no, it's yours. You found it outside. Doesn't matter if it's outside the betting shop. You
And
take it.
this is when she's desperate to find
Yes,
food for the family.
yes,
And she just
yes.
found the £50 note
And
outside
she
the
just
betting shop.
found £50 just right outside the betting shop in a busy place where, and I'm not calling them out like that, you have all the hood guys on the strip
Mm.
in Wilson there, and they're all chilling out there. And nobody saw the £50 on the floor.
Mm.
So all these things come into my mind when you think about it, like,
Mm.
how is it that no one can see the £50 just sitting there the whole time? And my mom saw it from a distance. All the hood guys there, and they'll fight for the money straight away. You know how it is reality,
Mm.
even if it's their friend, yeah. And yeah, outside the betting shop, all the people just hanging around. No one saw the £50. She took it up, went inside. That was money. That was food. And back then, £50 could give you like a good 2, 3 weeks. Like if you spend it wisely, if you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
times
of
have changed
course.
now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It'll buy you time for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so that's how it was before I was the first one out of my whole family to get my stay as well.
So
So
how did that happen then? How did you end up getting it?
so we were given so we went through like one solicitor, that guy messed up. Then we had to go apply back home in Jamaica to get our passport. You have to like record it as like stolen or whatever to the police, report it. And then so we got that, and then we went through this lady, and man, no disrespect to her, but these people were crooks. But when you're desperate,
Mm.
you have to work all the hours underneath the sun. And so when my whole family went through this one lady, and we didn't know that she was basically like, taking us for a ride. Every appointment or so,
Mm.
um, she's charging us to see her. But that's not how it works. Like we've given you our documents, we've
You've paid for
And
the
as you
first
go on,
appointment.
yeah, sorry.
You paid for the first appointment.
Yeah, you pay for yeah, exactly. You pay for the first appointment.
Mm,
They say, okay, this is what we need from you. You get all your
mm-hmm,
documents, your pay
mm-hmm,
slips, showing that you are because they're gonna build up a whole document for you to
mm,
say, yes, they've been in this country past their time, but this is the reasons why. They had to leave Jamaica because of X, Y, and Z.
mm,
They got work, they were able to get an NI number, they have been paying tax. So it's not like we're getting money and not. So even when my mom was working, she was able to get an NI number. So even though technically she shouldn't be working, um, she was paying her tax at the end of the day. So the judge will read over these and take all these into consideration,
mm,
basically. Like they won't just throw you out like that. It depends on the whole situation. Have you got a family? Have you got kids? Are you married? Are you not? They all these things they take into consideration.
mm.
But yeah, so basically she would charge for appointments. And I think my mom's one, I think it got rejected like to a couple times. Um, my one was the first one to come through. I think it was 2000 and I think it was like 2014 is when I
Wow.
got so I came into the UK 2001 and I think it was
14 years later.
2013. Yeah, 13, 14 years later. Yeah, and my mom got hers, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago now.
Really?
So
Just
yeah, she never
recently?
got yeah, recent. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's been around, she's had hers for about 4 years now. 3, 4 years, I
Really?
think. Yeah. Like it's been that. And because remember, every time you apply, every year it's gone up. So I'm actually in the process now of
Renewing.
about to apply for my final. Yeah, so no
The
more
indefinite.
renewal, indefinite, and then
Yeah.
I can get my British passport. I done my citizenship test. Actually, I'll get into that. That was a crazy one. I'll get into that. Yeah. Yeah, so basically we did that. Finally, I got a message from the lady. Congratulations, you're the first one in your family to get your leave to remain. And then they were like, you're on the path of private life of 10 years. So you have to, this is, I think, I don't know if it was Theresa May, one of those people. It used to be 5 years. This lady in Parliament, I think it was Theresa May, I can't remember sure, but she's the reason why now people, especially, it's really annoying because you have people who actually are working hard and trying to actually um be a part of
Not
the
try and
society,
cheat the system.
society. Yeah, not trying to cheat the system, doing it the right way, and you've extended their things for 10 years. So you have to every 2.5 years you have to renew it, and every year it goes up and up. I don't really care. I'm just gonna say it now. Like, so after now, it's 4 grand. Yeah, yeah.
Is
So
that
the system,
is that for you to get the indefinite?
yeah, to get an indefinite, and if you were just renewing it, it would be 3 grand. But that's and it's like especially some of the people who are not in a place to work
Mm.
or they're struggling to find work, but they've got granted leave. Where are you getting the money? Where are you getting all that money? You have to pay for your NHS, and then you have to pay to put the application in, and then you have to pay another fee. I can't remember a surcharge or something like that. So it's like I remember back in the days where it was what just about 1,000 all in, and then if you pay a solicitor. But if I was doing a solicitor now, I would have been paid 5 grand instead of 4 grand. So yeah, I can't do it. And my brother, he's very good. So he was like, I'll go through the whole application with you because he done it
Mm.
himself. So yeah, so that lady, she would literally just
Milking it.
take all your money, milk it, milk it.
Wow.
But finally I got my stay, then one after the other, my brother, my other brother, and then eventually my mom got her leave to remain. So
How was
yeah,
it for you with the moment you got that
oh
letter?
man, I was just like, finally, I don't have to like watch my back. I don't have to worry. I can like actually go into. like work and actually try and get a career, try and do something with my life,
Mm,
you know, um, without being bound. I didn't feel bound anymore. Like I'm blocked off. You can only do this type of work because these are the
mm.
only people who are, looking out for you, basically. So, yeah,
Wow,
that's how it happened, man. It was
that's
it was a
crazy.
long journey, yeah, a long journey. And every single year, it's like you have to be smart and play smart, where you have to be ready, where you are making sure that you stack away every month
Mm,
for when it does come, because it will come around quick and you're like, where am I gonna get all that money from?
mm.
You know? Yeah. So yeah, and you're thinking now I'm actually thinking like, well, I'm actually getting my indefinite and I don't have to worry every 2.5 years to fork out 5 grand, three, whatever it is.
Mm.
So
Have you placed it? Have you done the application then?
no, I'm about to. So I've got to, because my passport expired in December. I didn't even realize.
Mm,
And I think you can apply with an expired passport, but um, I'm renewing it. So a friend is going down, a friend of mine is going down to Jamaica. So
mm.
it's quicker if you do it there than if you do up here. I could wait 9 months for my passport to come back to me, and I don't have 9 months. Yeah. So thankfully, my friend is going to Jamaica, and they're gonna. It takes like a day to renew your
Sort it out.
passport. Yeah, we're up here. It can take months. So yeah, so I was like, I'll just wait. When you go, give them the money, they do it, and then when they come back up, and then apply. Basically, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Gosh. So then you said you had to write the citizenship test. Tell me more about that. What is,
So I got confused. So when I looked at my biometric was um expiring in my biometric was expiring in um December 2024.
mm,
And I thought that that was the end of the stay. But then so then I was just like, then sorry, I spoke to my brother and I was like, yeah, I'm about to apply, let me know. And he goes, oh, have you done your citizenship test? And I was like, no. He goes, you have to do that when you're getting your indefinite leave to remain. And I was like, no one told me that. They said that I could apply afterward. He was like,
mm.
no, I just did mine. You have to pass it and have that before you do your indefinite leave to remain. You
Yeah.
can't do it without it because they ask for the number that when you pass. So I was like, well, I've only got like what, under 2 weeks. How am I gonna do that? Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, that's a thick
So
book, isn't it? It's a book that you have to read, isn't it?
yeah, it's thick. Yeah. So I was just like, so he was like, just order the book. So every night I was reading through the book, and I'm not the fastest of readers either. So I was just like, man, this is a lot of information. And I was just getting so flustered. And then thankfully, um, I think it was my brother, someone said, oh, watch this guy on YouTube. He he created a course. It's a free course where he actually went through every single question that can come up in the test, and it gives you exactly the question and the answer. Because in the
Mm,
book, it gives you a million information you don't need to know.
mm,
If I need to know, let's say, I don't know, what year did what year was Winston Churchill born? Let's say that. But
mm.
then in the book, it will say Winston Churchill was born in this town, in this street, da 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 da, his parent, so all that kind of throws you off
So it cuts
rather
off all that.
than, yeah, yeah, exactly. So he made this for people doing it, and this guy's amazing. He did a fantastic job. So it's almost like he made it like doing a theory test for the car. When you're doing your theory test, instead of going through the book, you just keep doing
The questions.
the mock test over and over again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I did. So I just kept on going through his YouTube pages of all the questions. I went through the book once just to make sure at least something is absorbed, and something may be familiar. So quickly like bang that out. But then I went to do watch his videos where it just question, answer, and it was the most questions that came up
Mm,
consistently. So this guy really went in depth and done his work basically,
mm,
to help people who are struggling. Because he
mm-hmm.
was like, not fair, you're giving them all this information that you don't necessarily need to know. Just give them the question and the answer. So I had literally under 2 weeks to actually learn and book a test. So and if I failed, I had one more chance.
Mm,
And that's even if the slot was open, because remember, people are also booking up the slots. So if I failed, I had one more chance. But then if I did and I went to go book, it's not guaranteed that there's going to be a slot there
mm.
for that actual before the end of the year, basically. So I thought in my head, oh my days, this is crazy. How am I gonna learn this whole book and have it like in my head because it's a lot of information? And then I booked it anyway for the next week. So I in theory I actually had 2 weeks, but I my test was in 1 week. So I had 1 week to learn. Went to the test. I was praying. I was like, Lord, please bring to my memory.
Mm,
Like, I did my part. I did study. I didn't just sit there and, you know, you can't just expect God to just drop things when you've not
of
done your
course,
part.
you
You have
worked
to do
hard
your
for
part.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I worked hard to the point where I was literally up at like 1 in the morning. And imagine I'm driving trucks for the whole day as well.
Wow.
So pretty dangerous. I'm going to bed at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning studying, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning,
Mm,
getting to work at 6, driving truck all day, come back home, deal with the kids, spending a bit of time with the family. And then when they're all gone to sleep, that's my time to go and study because I can't study when kids are running up and down, they're dragging at you. You know what I mean? Like
mm.
it's not gonna sink in. And yeah, so then I went to the test and they were militant in the test center. Like no one could talk to each other. It's basically like to make sure no one cheating or anything like that.
Mm.
And some people were talking, and this lady was like, "Be quiet!" Like they're in a school. I was like in a regular place, you'd be like, "Don't talk to me like that." We're adults here, you know.
So extra, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, proper extra, proper extra. And yeah, so they were actually like teachers in that place where they were just being militant. And when it was my turn to go book in, there was this lady there, this African lady, and then she was like, "You're right," and I was like, "I'm not even gonna lie, I've had basically 1 week, and I'm breaking it, but I'm trusting in God." And then she was like, "Ah, don't worry, man, don't worry, it's fine." And they're not supposed to like do that. Basically, they're supposed to be just barefaced, and they were like that
Mm.
to everyone. For some reason, when I went there, they're all the ladies there were quiet. And I don't think it is in that way, but I'm saying
Yeah, just
they were quiet.
encouraging.
Yeah, they were very encouraging, which was just like,
Mm.
okay, yeah. So then I went in now and the path mark is 18 and went through the whole test. And I the one of the lady was like, she came to me, she was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Why is she coming up to me for?"
Yeah.
She was like, she was like, "I need to look out for your account." I'm like, why are you saying you need to look out? Yeah. So I was just like, nah, this is crazy. Like,
Mm.
you're not supposed to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was like, yeah, she was like, "I need to watch out for your account." And I was like, okay. And then so after I did my test, she came back again. She was like, "Make sure you read over everything." And I was just like, "You're not going to nobody else. Why do you keep coming to me?"
Wow.
So I went over it and I was like, I counted 18. I was like, "I'm sure I know those 18 questions.
Mm.
I'm sure." And then I read after I read over it, I turned around to let them know. I didn't actually, I turned around and the lady put her finger up, her thumb up, and she was like, and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. Does she know something that I don't know?"
Wow.
I was like, "This is weird. This is weird because they don't do this." The whole time I was there, I didn't see them interacting with nobody like that. And there was like loads of other men, women of all ages, um, And then she was like, she just put her hands up at me, her thumb up at me, smiling. Then I went out. She was like, 10 minutes, you'll see your answer. And she was like, don't worry. And I was just like, okay. And then got the email now. And then my heart's beating. And I see, congratulations, you have. And I was like, right, I call my friend straight. I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, bro, I bought you patties just ready. Congratulations. Yeah, so
Wow.
I was gassed. So I was like, okay, good, good. Next step now I need to go. And next step now I need to go and call my brother to say, hey, what day are you free so we can go and do the, application. And then he was then I called up the Home Office and I was like, I'm a bit like confused. Like, what's it? I was reading through some stuff. This was before my brother, because we haven't met up yet to do it. But he was like, "Oh, can I have your biometric number?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, no, 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 your biometric expires, but your stay is actually till June, 2025. So don't apply now because it's too ahead of time." And I was like, imagine that I would have wasted back then. The price was slightly less, so it would have been 3 grand. Now it's 4 grand. But I
Mm,
would have wasted if I had applied, they would have sent it back and been like, it's too early, and they
mm.
don't refund you back. Yeah, yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? So
That's
like
crazy.
you have to really know your information because you can mess up. And so they were like, the girl was like, no, 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 the card is going digital now, but your visa actually is till 2025. So I was just like, whoa, imagine that. So yeah, man.
Bruh, that's
Basically,
wow. Just literally like in
yeah,
time. So, Dre,
yeah,
in 3 minutes, somebody out there is dealing with an immigration problem, status is not fixed and stuff. However, you're Christian, you're struggling because sometimes you need to work, you need to this and that. You tell me, what would you say to a person right now who's dealing with this? Like right now, because there's so much temptation that comes with it as well. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
You can
yeah.
go that way or that way. So, what would
I
you
would say
advise?
if someone came to me and they were going through the same situation, I would 100% say be honest and upfront and bring it before Jesus in prayer because that's what I did.
Mm,
I would say it's easy to go under the guise of getting someone to do things illegally for you to get through.
mm,
Loads of people have done it that way. But I would say to them, God will honor you because you're
mm,
doing the right thing.
mm,
And if it doesn't turn out the way you wanted it in that time, it doesn't mean that he hasn't got a plan for you somewhere down the line
mm.
because he could be working some stuff out. And that's exactly, and I'll just tell them about my mother. I was like, look, my mother got rejected twice. I think it was twice, 3 times, a couple of times. She's got hers now. So she's
From
now on the
2001.
from 2001, exactly. So I would say to them, hold on to Christ,
Mm,
do things the right way,
mm,
because God doesn't. One thing that God taught me, He doesn't honor lie. He doesn't honor a lie. He cannot bless lie. So it's tempting to go and lie, but
mm,
when you do things in truth, God 100% backs you.
mm,
Don't be disappointed if it doesn't go the way it came first, because you don't know what the journey He has for you, and you don't know who He's gonna affect in the process of you being you in Christ on the journey. You just don't know. You have to look outside of yourself. Yes,
mm,
you need to look for you to be able to have things legally, but do everything with God at the center, and He will. And don't be disappointed if it doesn't happen in your time. Don't lose faith. What did Jesus say to Peter? Satan desires to sift you as wheat, but I have prayed for you. He said that he prays that Jesus said that he it doesn't he prayed that you don't get taken out of the world, but
mm.
that you overcome. So you're gonna be in the midst of the hardness, and that will also shape you
Mm,
to build you up. Because look, I've been in here from two, even though yes, I did get it my first time, but as in there was blockages in between. So I would say hold on to Christ, do things the right way, and don't restrict God to you must do it in this time.
mm,
No. Let God lead the journey.
mm,
Don't lead the journey. Don't lead God on your journey. Let
mm.
God lead the journey.
I love that. I love that. And in 30 seconds, because that's what we got left now, what would you
Yeah.
say is something that God was taught you, the one thing that he taught you in the midst of that?
The one thing, he
Mm.
will never leave you nor forsake you. That sums it up.
On that note,
I'm telling you,
on that
God
note,
will
bless
never
you,
leave
Dre,
you. Yeah.
or forsake you. I love that. I love the way you ended that. I love the way you ended that. Listen,
It's true,
every
man.
every time I end your sessions, it's like it almost feels like there's so much more.
Yeah, yeah, bro. I'm good to do more parts, man. You know me. I'm good to do more
Say
parts.
less. I know right now
Yeah,
you're at your in-laws, bro, but say less. For the sake of this,
yeah.
I'm going to say, please like the video, please share, subscribe,
Of course.
please, so we
Yeah,
can
man.
get to as many people as possible. People can
Everyone,
be
please.
encouraged. I know personally there's a lot of people who are going through the same thing that you went through for 14 years. 14
Mm,
years. Yeah, and you're saying
yeah,
your mom only got hers 4 years ago. That's crazy.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy. I didn't even know that. That's crazy. But
yeah.
God bless you, Dre.
God
And
bless you too, brother.
I know there's going to be a part four. Sorry, man. I keep pulling you back,
Yeah,
but your
no,
story is
bro,
just so
I
elaborate.
am down. I am down to continue and have more talks, and I am here. I want people to be blessed and for them to be encouraged.
And thank you for making time because I know you're spending time with the family or your in laws and all that. So I'm going to let you go, bro. But thank